Ooh, crap! Enemies! Although they've not spotted us yet. Taking cover.
Make no mistake, they left us to die.
Well, I guess we might as well kick things off with a bang or two. Let's rock and roll. Jolly good show. I dare say it's time for the intro splash now. Right about now. Whenever you're ready. As long as it's now. What's up guys, Rogue9 here, and in today's video I will be talking about The Division. I have to say, before the recent open beta, I'd heard about The Division, but I wasn't really quite sure what it was. And even for players who did follow most of the Ubisoft announcements, there still seems to be some confusion around how Ubisoft will handle some of the game's aspects, such as potential microtransactions or monthly fees. So let's clear up what this game is really about. The Division is going to be a cooperative gameplay-based third-person shooter / MMORPG hybrid. The game will be set during a Mad Max-style near-future apocalypse, in which a deadly virus has brought humanity to its knees. Armed gangs roam the cities, and it is your job to help restore order and cure the virus. So why do I call this game an MMORPG and third-person co-op shooter hybrid? Well, simply because it's neither really one or the other, but has aspects of both. The game will feature two different zones, a regular gameplay area where you will only be able to see other players who are in your team, and the dark zone where you will also be able to see random other players who might be neutral or might secretly be waiting to shoot you in the back and steal your loot. So it's the dark zone that is more MMO-like, and the regular zone that is more just like any co-op third-person shooter. In fact, to me, the controls and the gameplay feel very similar to the most recent Splinter Cell, which also had a co-op feature. So you could almost think of The Division as a loot-driven Splinter Cell. Apart from the two different currencies that you'll be collecting both in the dark zone and in the regular zone, you'll be collecting 3 different kinds of loot. First up, you will have weapons, then there are weapon attachments and modifications, and lastly you have gear and clothing. During the early stages of the game that were available during the beta, loot drops were very frequent and you were always just getting that extra little bit of new kit or a new weapon to keep upgrading your character. And this RPG feature of constantly improving your character sits over the top of the regular story missions, in which your objective is to equip and upgrade your base so that you can fight the virus that has been unleashed, and of course the semi-competitive PvP gameplay in the Dark Zone. So since this game is focused so much on online gameplay with your friends, it's worthwhile making sure that you're on the same platform. The game will be released on the Xbox, the PS4 and the PC, and it is not cross-platform, so players on one console will not be able to play the game with people on the other console or the PC players, so make sure you're on the same platform as people you want to play with. Now, one of the biggest concerns I've had, and I've also seen other people voice, is that since this is kind of an MMORPG, it would have a fee structure like we've seen for games like World of Warcraft. For a lot of players, having to pay a regular monthly subscription fee on top of the initial cost of purchasing the game is an outright deal breaker. So the great news is that Ubisoft have promised that there will be no subscription fees. That is of course apart from the PS Plus and Xbox Gold subscriptions that console players have to buy if they want online access to any game. So, if there are no regular subscription fees, well, surely the game is going to have loads of microtransactions. Pay $1 here or 60 pence there for a new weapon or a better set of gloves. Or like with so many games nowadays, surely there will be an option to pay to advance your character more quickly, rather than spend dozens or even hundreds of hours that it might otherwise take for you to progress. Sadly, we've seen exactly these small little sneaky costs sneaking into Rainbow Six Siege, so it's easy to see how some players at least will be worried that The Division will be exactly the same. But good news, everyone! Ubisoft have publicly announced that there will be no microtransactions and definitely no pay to win in The Division. But Rogue, I hear you shout. Or at least I imagine that I'm hearing you shout. If this is such an online-focused game, Ubisoft will have to run all sorts of servers to make it work. And those things cost money. Well, yes, Ubisoft do have a plan to recoup those costs on an ongoing basis, but I think the way they've chosen to do this is in fact the least annoying option possible. Some people might even like it. And of course, it won't come as a surprise to anyone who's not been living under a rock for the last 10 years, that Ubisoft already have paid DLC in the pipeline. For The Division, as with Rainbow Six Siege, there will be an ongoing mixture of paid and free DLC and updates. 3 significant paid-for expansions have already been announced. The first one is Underground, where players will be able to go underground. The second one is Survival, where players must survive in a hostile environment, and the final one is The Last Stand, where you will probably have to make some kind of last stand, I assume. As always, of course, you can pre-purchase these updates at a discount, and you will also receive a few extra goodies for buying the season pass, or of course you can buy them as they come out. In addition to these DLC packs, as I've mentioned, there will also be minor updates throughout the year available to all players, such as new game modes and co-op challenges. To wrap things up, let's address maybe one point where Ubisoft have been not quite as clear. Now, I have seen reports that there will definitely be no microtransactions at all, but on the other hand, I have heard some rumors about microtransactions that might be there for purely cosmetic purposes. Think hats or maybe weapon skins. Personally, I'm not worried about anything like that. I mean, if players do want to spend some money on looking different, then so be it. As long as it doesn't affect the gameplay, it doesn't affect me. And while I've never really played an MMO, in fact, I say never really, I have never played an MMO, I did really enjoy the beta for this game. Anyway, if you were unsure about this game up until now, I hope I've cleared things up a little bit. Are you excited for this game? Let us know by using the voting buttons on screen now. Anyway guys, it's time to wrap this video up. As always, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode.
Like and subscribe to receive notifications of future videos. Always follow Doctor's instructions.